Let's return to the Specialty Equipment Market Association convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. One of the really exciting and great things about coming to the SEMA convention are the people you meet. It's just full of everybody you can think of in the automotive hobby. Well, the fine gentleman sitting next to me, Mr. Barry Meguiar, is going to talk to us a little bit. Barry, thank you for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show.
Great to be with you. I love your show.
Thank you. Hey, Meguiar's is, I mean, you're into car care products, you're into charities, you're into just taking care of the community. How did this all start?
We're into being car crazy.
Car crazy, yes, yes.
You know, it was started by my grandfather in 1901, in Evansville, Indiana. Moved the business out to Pasadena, California in 1913. Little known fact, more cars per capita in Pasadena, California in 1950 than any other city in the world.
Wow.
And some of the great coach builders positioned themselves in Pasadena. It was the bedroom community to Hollywood as all the movies started happening, and the great cars, and so our company's always associated with the cars and making them look their best. And my grandfather just had this quirk. He would not bring a product out until he knew it was, I mean, it sounds like everybody's going to say that, but he always wanted to create this perfect finish where you can take a black car out in the sun and have a perfect reflection without any swirl marks, any holograms, just a perfect reflection of the sun. That was his qualification for a great finish. And we have done that throughout the years, and because of that, we have been used by the guys going to car shows. All the custom painters are using our products. So when the car shows first began, and now we're going back into the 40s, into the 50s, and by the time the 60s came, car shows were starting to be mainstream. A lot of people going to those car shows, and as they went, they saw all the best paint finishes around were being polished with Meguiar's. They said, I'd like my paint to look like that. They started putting pressure on the retailers. We want Meguiar's. We were a professional product, still are. Our main business is selling the car manufacturers, the paint manufacturers, car dealers, body shops, what we now call detailers, and so that we weren't available retail-wise. And we had this growing army of people frustrated with us because they wanted our products, they couldn't find them until finally I introduced our products and came here to I brought that line of products to the SEMA show 30 years ago right now, 30 years ago.
Wow.
I was at the first SEMA show back in the mid-60s, but with just our professional brand and doing a little bit of consumer awareness with our professional brand, which was Mirror Glaze. But in '73, I brought our new Meguiar's brand, and so this is a 30-year anniversary for us as trying to get into the consumer marketplace. And now, of course, we're mass distributed. We're the top-selling liquid car wax in America, the top-selling paste car wax in America, top-selling spray of car wax in America. And I look at all this, and you know, we've done it without advertising. It hasn't been that. It's just been car guys telling car guys.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
If you have a cool car, you want to really look cool, chances are you'll probably use our products.
That's great. What do you think it was? It seems to be like back in the late 50s into mid 60s or later 60s. Back then, you went out and you bought a tub of wax that was hard as a brick, and you struggled through it, and you spent a whole day, and then just all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, maybe in a 10-year period, boom, you could, get a million different products. It just, the market recognized the need for this, or the car people were demanding it, or how do you think all that happened?
Oh boy, I could talk to you hours. That's a great question. See if I can sum it up real quick. First off, the old wax where you had elbow grease, you had to kill yourself off. You don't know why that was? Because everybody was relying on carnauba wax. Carnauba wax comes from a wax palm in
Which
Brazil.
we were told is the best thing to do. So.
Still, I mean, I can't believe it. You know, we put carnauba wax in our packages today, not because we need it, but because everybody thinks it's not any good unless you have carnauba. Well, carnauba has been passe for a long time. We have never really relied on carnauba wax. Carnauba wax is so hard, if you hit it with a hammer, it shatters like glass. So first off, 100% pure carnauba wax, which is said in a lot of packages, it would scratch the dickens out of your car if it was 100%. It has to be blended with a lot of other ingredients. But the fact of the matter is, because it's so hard, it's hard to apply, it's hard to wipe off. There have been all types of synthetic waxes, polymers, polymeric type solutions and resins and materials that have been so advanced that you blend with an array of waxes. It gives so much better resiliency. And carnauba wax tends to dull the finish. And we want that finish to be as bright as possible. We don't want to dull that finish. Used to be, when you wax your car, you knew you got long-lasting protection, but you might suffer a little bit of gloss, but you'd be protecting that paint. It's not true anymore. And then liquids came onto the forefront because now there's an easy-to-use product. It won't last as long, but it's easy to use. And we've always had waxes that were very easy to use because we didn't rely on carnauba wax. They lasted longer, easier to use, you know.
So what
tastes great but less filling,
Yeah.
and it's the best of all worlds. And so, you know, we have the top selling paste wax and the top selling liquid wax today. And if you ask me which one's best, I'll tell you they're exactly the same because they're basically the same ingredients in different forms. And so they're both easy to use and easy to wipe off. And there are lots of products in the market that are a lot easier to use today. All that being said, fewer and fewer people are waxing their cars today. In 1973, 65% of our population was waxing cars. Now it's 23% of the population is waxing cars. Because the paints today, we work with all the paint manufacturers around the world, the paints today are fabulous. They're so durable. They have UV screeners and the clear coats. And the fact that if you're not a car guy, if you're not looking for that show car finish, you can drive a car 2-3 years. It looks mighty fine. I mean, you're happy with it.
When you get gas, go through the drive-through, and
so
you're
that's
happy.
why. And the aging of America and leased cars, there's a lot of phenomena that's going on. But the car hobby, the car guy, be they gal or guy, they want that car to gleam. They want a clear reflection. They want a mirror finish. They want it slick. And that still requires our types of products, and that's our audience.
Yeah, I was once cleaning a car of mine, and I had a car duster, and I'm dusting the thing off, and this woman comes along and asks me what I'm doing, and I'm dusting the car, and she looks at me and she said, "You dust your car?" At which point I was car crazy. I realized at that point. So, well, what's the first car? What was your test bed? Your first car that you had, and did you use a lot of the product on it?
Well, of course, we started in 1901, so if you want to have the first cars, you know, the first product my grandfather made was a furniture polish. And we make this fabulous line of home care products for wood. In fact, we make Fender guitar polishes, for instance, for the guitar finishes and whatever. But anyways, then it moved over to the horseless carriages. Well, if you want to talk about my first car is a 57 Chevy, black Bel Air hardtop.
Oh, black, okay.
I built into a hot rod, you know. I was one of the first guys I knew to put synchronized with getting it off the column and getting a 4-speed on the floor. It's like nobody had that, but I was there and I just hopped with it. And I have a mate to that car today that I really love. And so that was the first car. Of course, it was black. We do not drive anything but black cars. You can't tell what a polish will do or a wax will do on a white car or yellow car. I'm always fascinated how people at county fairs, where they were demonstrating their products on a silver car. Well, that covers a multitude of sins, you know. A black car separates the men from the boys. So
my high school ride was a 54 Olds, 2-door hardtop lowered, and it was black.
Really?
And at one point somebody came along, and in the dust on the trunk, they wrote Highlands on the thing. Well, it took a few products to get that.
Highlands on that car for quite a while.
Eternity, So,
you know, we have products today. If somebody keys your car, most of the time it's not through the paint finish. It looks like it is. If it's not through the paint finish, in 10 minutes time we can remove it. Not by hand, with special finishing papers we have and buffing pads, but that's the professional side of it.
And people that key cars, they're not going to heaven, so.
No, that's for sure. Yes, you know, they'll get their reward. God keeps track of those kind of
that's
things.
like commandment number 11, thou shalt not. So you do a lot of charity work?
Well, I do. You know, to whom much is given, much is required, and you know, I've been blessed. I was born into a home that's God-fearing, it's centered in the church, and blessed with a great family business. And you know, I don't work. It's just I just have a lot of fun, and so we have enough bread on our table. And so I look at the people that haven't had that kind of upbringing. The one that's close to my heart is Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge is the largest, oldest, most successful program in the world for getting people off of drugs. 86% cure rate. It's free. If you're hurting and you're drugged out and you haven't been able to get off of drugs, you've had a terrible habit, gone on for years, come to Teen Challenge. It's a year program. It's free. And when you get to that 86% chance you'll get off of drugs. And our hobby tends to be, you know, the hot rodders are here and the Ferrari guys are here and the vintage guys are here. And we're trying to bring it in and say it's all one hobby. It's the same
That seems to be happening more and more. It's what I'm noticing, because we're covering true classics, we're covering hot rods, customs, but they're all kind of getting real comfortable with each other.
I think so. And the tuner, I mean, isn't it wonderful what's going on? Tuners were just a little bit on the sidelines here, and now they've just kind of
hot rods are a little bit on the sideline here. It's just amazing, the whole tuner thing here.
It really is. What's the difference between what they're doing and what we're doing back? You know, when we were kids and modifying our cars, it's the same passion, different expression, different types of things. But the appreciation going back and forth, and we're trying to help the kids appreciate the Duesenbergs and you know the classics.
Great.
And
one big happy family. Barry, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. Enjoy everything that you're doing for the hobby. Enjoy your show. When I'm not watching mine, I'm watching yours.
Likewise.
So, Barry, thank you very much for being on Vintage Vehicle.
Thank you, Lance.
All right.
Really a
Thank
privilege
you.
to be on your show.